within your body's DNA, genetic network, through the auspices of melanin. Let's hear it for melanin. Oh. Melanin and gold in the body, you can create a molecular atomic black hole implosion and literally beam your entire black ass out of this awareness. See, people studying melanin in school, they don't got fucking clue the first about what it is. It's Melchizedek manifested. Melanin, chi, the power, Z, the energy of the ion and the atom, and Zedek, the 10th, Deca, 10th. That's the 10th part of you, realizing and overstanding and understanding. The 90%. When you interface with the dark matter consciousness, you get into the energy of the 11 cycle. Because the 10% your brain can manifest, edging into that 90% gives you 1% of the 90, which is enough to raise you to the next vibrational level. Again, your body's DNA genetic network, through the auspices of melanin and the gold in the body, you can create a molecular atomic black hole implosion. But our present melanin construct does not allow for the unique synthesized molecular magnesium to interface with the gold. You see, you can't take the gold from the ground. You have to breathe the gold. The gold has to be breathed in from the atmosphere, but the atmosphere is so dead, is so polluted, you can't extract the yellow gold tincture, the high, what they call the philosopher's stone material. You can't extract it from the air because the sun is constantly giving you gold. What do you think sunlight is? What do you think all that stuff that we are stardust, that's all we are. Everything that we're absorbing and breathing in is minerals from the stars. You can't get the true minerals from the ground. That's bullshit minerals. That's already converted. You, as the prime processor of consciousness, you breathe in the minerals from stars. You are all star children. We are all aliens to this planet because we breathe everything from someplace else. The light of the stars that beam down to you, every time those light beams beam, they beam particulate matters. You may not see the particulate matter, but you're breathing it every day. That's what sustains you. That light is the gold. The sun is the yellow gold that you're supposed to be breathing in. You're supposed to be titurating it through these nostrils, the masculine and the feminine. When you breathe in, you are now consolidating vortexes of energies. When you get them into your lungs, the lungs are now taking those vortexes and they're creating implosions by what you have. But you see, you don't understand that you're also breathing in pollutions that stop you from getting the proper alchemy. Your breath and your thoughts are together. That's why your thoughts are either golden or they're made of lead. So when you breathe gold, but the gold is so, your society and the air is so polluted that you can't extract the proper gold. So what these devils know is that they could take the gold and try to refine the shit and hopefully try to trip out and do with you or with them or whatever what they can't do with their own melanin. They lack a melanin. So this is where the makers of the monoatomic gold are trying to artificially kickstart this organic process. But the gold our ancestors used was extracted by our ancestors directly from the air, through the breath. It was synthesized from the solar light particulates of the sun and the surrounding star systems through the etheric and astral matrices of the body. The gossamer material, or the grosser elemental gold, is difficult to interface with our present body structures. That is, at our present molecular atomic orientation. The molecules and the atoms do not orient towards accepting the gold. When the white man tries to take the grosser molecular gold and refine it back to its etheric purity, it's just like him creating another pharmaceutical drug. The blood's vibrational capacitance is no longer equitable to interface with the artificial gold. The gold slowly causes the consciousness crystals of your body to disintegrate. disconnecting your body's awareness from its astral and etheric filters. Thus, without your higher consciousness thoughts and emotional will and intent to synchronize your earthly awareness, you can die, or existing diseases accelerates to kill you, or you create a tendency towards vampirism. Let me say that again for all you monoatomic mainliners. The blood's vibrational capacitance is no longer equitable to interface with at this level. The goal slowly causes the consciousness crystals of your body to disintegrate because there's nothing there to integrate with them. There is no natural gold in your body anymore. You cannot breathe the proper nutrients anymore. You see, you're barely surviving right now. Barely surviving to what, 80, 79, maybe even if you crease to 100. The older people are the ones that's actually surviving. None of you motherfuckers are going to be living to 100 years of age. I don't give a fuck how much jogging you do, how many diets you go on. All that shit don't mean nothing. This is the end time. Shit is speeding up. Face it. We cannot interface with what our ancestors interfaced with. In fact, the oxygen level in this planet right now has dropped to virtually 10 to 11%. We hardly breathing. It used to be, when they built the pyramids, it was 35%. It's down to 16, 15, all the way down to 12. And in the cities, fuck it, they know oxygen. I don't know how the fuck we breathing. Thus, without your higher consciousness thoughts and emotional will, and we're going to get into all of this. I just scratch it now. Without your higher thoughts and emotional intent to synchronize your earthly awareness, if you take the monoatomic goal, you can die. Or your existing diseases accelerate to kill you. Or you create the tendency towards vampirism. Now, I told you that the monoatomic gold is what they put on the police cars, the strobe lights. That's what got you shitting in your pants each time the police come up and whoop, whoop, and you see them goddamn lights in the back. It's like, oh shit. That's the monoatomic gold that's in the filters of the light, and it fucks with your brain. Now, careful about this monoatomic gold circulating in specialty products or perhaps in the bottled water that's accelerating our species' tendencies towards vampirism. Bottled water. Drink a lot of it. But see, people on certain levels can drink certain poisons that would affect people on weaker mindsets. If you don't know what your thoughts are thinking, you're fucked. If you think your thoughts are your own without scrutinizing them and you find yourself acting on shit that keeps breaking you down, then they're not your thoughts. Because people's lives are always towards the betterment. Why would you start thinking for your destruction unless somebody interfaced with your thought programming to cause you to start thinking that way? That's right, I did take a sip. You see, now check it out. The gold in the earth, listen carefully, gold stabilizes our gravity and our atmosphere, or the etheric and astral components of our planet, just as it does in us. The monoatomic gold they're pushing on us today, if taken by those without the genetically sponsored magnesium molecule in the cell, or whose etheric, astral, soul, and blood force energies are disaligned or polluted, will turn the repetitive user into a monoatomic vampire. The necrocracy has studied the human temple very well. They have information going back thousands of years and have a far more advanced perspective on the contemporary workings of the body than we collectively do now. Blood poisoning is nanogenetic intent manipulation. Let me say that again. Blood poisoning is nanogenetic intent manipulation. It is the means to control our abilities to digest and braid our own protein-based consciousness memories. Now you listen to me carefully. We have a very eminent sister who studied the DNA, Sister Dr. Ann Brown. And she's told me a lot of things about certain proteins and what happens. Well, proteins are what are little messengers. And they come based upon the experiential basis that your blood has. It's a consciousness activated material that the blood uses to carry messages to certain parts of the body based upon the consciousness intent as well as the consciousness evolution of the entity. Proteins themselves grow on the so-called DNA based upon where the DNA instructs the total body that it needs that growth. Your consciousness is what's causing your DNA to grow or decelerate. And the proteins that are being used, quote unquote, are what gives the DNA the instructions. Now, what's happening is how you braid your own DNA, how you lock your own DNA, how you use your own DNA is what they're trying to take from you. This is what is called self-steering evolution. Self-steering evolution. They want to take away your self-steering abilities. You don't have the ability, they don't want you to have the ability to map your own evolutionary consciousness anymore. This is why the shutdown, this is why constantly every day you're going to find a whole new way of locking you in, of keeping you in fear, of closing the borders, shutting you down, making you smaller and smaller. The box is getting smaller. Listen, it is the means to control our abilities. Blood poisoning is nanogenetic intent manipulation. You understand what I mean by that? Anybody who don't? Okay, nanogenetic intent manipulation. Nano meanings to the billionth. Or 10 billion, 100 billion. Genetic is the small genetic intent manipulation. In other words, what you, by free will, intend for your own body through your own cosmic evolution is what you grow based upon a lack of interference or manipulation by anything outside of yourself. But what they're doing is they're manipulating your development by changing your food from what is natural, what the world and the earth would give you as natural nutrients to keep up with its development, because the world is also developing and growing. The earth is a conscious entity. It too is growing in consciousness. So when you, as a partaker in consciousness, were to eat the fruits of a natural world, you would naturally evolve to the next stage of your own consciousness development. So what they have done now is that Monsanto and the rest of these beasthoods are taking the shit and manipulating the DNA so that the proteins you make from that shit will not give the proper information to your physical body for you to jumpstart the shit to get out of here. Now you say, well, that shit sounds fanciful. That's science fiction shit. No, it ain't. Why would they want to manipulate shit? Why would they want to change food to food that would never exist before in life? Shit that would never interface. Fucking spiders with apples and shit. Nanogenetic intent manipulation is being done to keep you docile so that you cannot braid your own protein-based consciousness memories. It's to keep you docile like cattle being vaccinated with hormones and other toxins before slaughter in the market. Intent manipulation is done to disrupt the innate signals emanated by our higher consciousness mandates, our higher genetic mandates, which allows us to keep control of our own self-steering evolutionary free will mandate. In other words, it attempts to unbraid and then rebraid our current braid structures. Remember, when you want a current to go from that's a good sign based on what do you call it? Anybody who reads Carlos Castaneda? Right. You know when a moth comes by, moths only come to light. Check. We in the light here, y'all. Thank you, Spirit. You understand? So, know that when you're ready to move energy from one area to the next, you watch the electrician he braids the wire. You just don't have one straight wire. It's braided. It's twisted, just like the locks. Genetically modified foods are purposefully pre-assembled genetic proteins. Listen to me carefully. Genetically modified foods are purposefully pre-assembled genetic proteins that are diabolically meant to teach our etheric astral-based blood chemistries to adapt alien protein templates to change and or detour our present consciousness trajectories. Chemtrails, as another example, contain highly processed genetic material alien to the human chemistry. Together with GM foods, they all constitute intent vector manipulation. Let me say that again. Intent vector manipulation.